everyone. Welcome to Travelpayouts webinar, getting ready for the peak travel season. Today, we are going to tell you more about the upcoming travel affiliate season of 2020. Let me introduce the speakers. Today, there are three of us. It's me, Olga Gachkova. I think you all know me already if you're not the first time visiting the webinar. I'm Olga Gachkova. I work as marketing manager at Travelpayouts, and today welcome Kate Zabolotnaya and Maria Pereligina. It's our business development team, our managers from Russia and from the United States. So we'll first provide an overview of the resources we provide at Travelpayouts to help you start quickly and start earning a lot. Then we'll switch to the seasonality and trends, and then we'll discuss popular niches, and we will share the niches that have proved to monetize well during the peak season. And at the end, before the Q&A session, we'll provide you a short list of tips for you to prepare for the season. So, and here we start. So first of all, this webinar is called Getting Ready for the Peak Travel Season. And we decided to hold it in February. And do you have any ideas why so? Why it's time to prepare in February? In simple words, February is almost your deadline for starting your website or blog preparation to really succeed in the peak season, because summer is only coming. Yes, because it's coming, and it's coming really soon. If you need to optimize your website, optimize your content strategy, and update your existing content as well, it takes many months to do. All right, let's begin with our usual slides and share what Travelpayouts is if you don't know. So we are the biggest cost per action travel affiliate network in the world. We partner with over 240,000 travel bloggers, webmasters, and social media managers all over the world. So that's why we obtain all data to predict trends and popular destinations for each season. So here we decided to show you some statistics of the previous year, the year of 2019. As you can see, we are rapidly growing, raising the travel affiliate market. So we've already paid over $23 million, and the top monthly payout last year was over $37,000. That's a lot, right? So to help our affiliates grow, we have a number of really well worked out resources, so to speak. So these are, first of all, our dashboard and your user interface that you use when you work with Travelpayouts. You get all statistics, all offers on one page, all withdrawal information. So as soon as you register, and it takes around 30 seconds, you immediately get redirected to your dashboard, and you see all statistics, like payment information, everything else. So this is probably the number 2 resource, our support. So which is available at, which is accessible at support at travelpayouts.com. So if you have any difficulties or questions, you can write them. You can send them an email. So also we have, we keep updating our knowledge base almost daily. So it's the Travelpayouts Knowledge Hub that contains answers to nearly every question you might have. And as for our blog, we're quite proud of it too. And here is why. We provide the most up-to-date travel trends and affiliate advice. And as well, we give lists of the best services to help you improve your profits even better. So that led us that gave us around 850,000 blog post views last year. And at the end of this webinar, when I will share tips, I will give some links to really useful articles that will help you prepare better. But now I think it's time to leave the stage and give the microphone to Maria. She's in Boston at this moment, and she's going to tell you why we decided to talk about the peak season in February, what is seasonality and how it affects tourism, and what are some opportunities and threats we have of this upcoming year, including coronavirus, of course. Okay, thank you. So Maria, welcome.
Thank you, Olga. Hello, everyone. So let's go to the topic. Yeah, thanks. I would like to start with the point why seasonality exists and why it is important. So when we are talking about seasons, there are actually 3 main seasons for the travel industry: high season, low season, and shoulder season. High season means that there are a lot of tourists and there are a lot of flights, a lot of packages, and other travel products. Low season means that tourists don't like a specific destination in a specific time, or it's a low season over the world. Shoulder season is something in between. It's still fine to go to a destination, but might be some issues with weather or some others. As an example, you can see on this slide the schedule of a high, shoulder, and low seasons around some of the national parks in the US. So why do high season and low season exist? Well, there are three main reasons. The first reason, and the most important reason, is nature and climate. Of course, tourists don't want to experience too cold weather or too hot weather. Especially, a lot of tourists go to sun and sea destinations. And of course, they want to have pleasant, warm air temperature and water temperature. The second important reason is public holidays. And the most important holiday is school holiday. When children are free, the whole family can go to a vacation. But apart from the school holiday, there are also some other holidays. For example, religious, Christmas, Lunar New Year, and others. And the last reason is sport seasonality. Some specific kind of sport has seasonality, for example, golf, soccer, and others. Plus, there are some specific events that take time in the specific season, in specific time of the year. Seasons are high season and low season are different in different countries. So let me show you a short video about seasonality in different regions. Let's loop. Yep. So you can see how high, shoulder, and low seasons are different around different regions. High season is marked in red. Shoulder season is in yellow, and low season is in blue. So you can see that even within one region, the seasons could be different. Moreover, sometimes the situation is even more complicated, and seasons could be different even within one country. Take a look on this slide. I took Thailand as an example. You can see the calendar of seasonality on the left side. Thailand is not a huge country, but still there are different destinations and they are located in different climate zones. That's why they have different seasonality. You can see that some of them are better to visit in winter from December to March, and some of them are more recommended to visit from March to September. It might sound very complicated, but in reality, when we are talking about the global world, we are talking about summer season. Because if we take a look on the overall number of tourist arrivals over the world, we can clearly see the summer season is the most popular season. So you can see that each year the number of tourists grow. And the last year, 2019, was higher than the previous year. This growth is different for different regions, and the Middle East had the biggest growth last year. I think it's time to talk about the season 2020. Well, let's start with the point about statistics. Sorry, this slide. The World Tourism Organization predicts that the number of arrivals will keep increasing. The overall increase is predicted from 3 to 4%. But again, this prediction is different for different regions. This forecast was created in January 2020. And you can see from this slide that the biggest increase is predicted for Asia Pacific and Middle East. But at the same time, we know that some specific events can affect our industry, and of course, we can face some difficulties that really affect tourism. So let's start with some negative and positive points that are really actual for the travel industry in 2020. I don't want to go to trends of recent years, such as digital tourism and different technological innovations. I want to specify some points that I think are important for 2020. So, and I would like to start with negative point. And of course, the most important and the most impactful factor is coronavirus. There are a lot of effects driven by this coronavirus, and let's just say that the first is, of course, the effect on the overall economy. Tourists from specific region, for example, from mainland China, could not go anywhere on Lunar New Year, and that had a huge impact on the economy of Asia Pacific. And of course, it had a huge impact on tourists from these regions. The second point is, of course, some travel destinations, some cities are totally banned, or some cities have lower accessibility, so lower number of flights than usual. Of course, we cannot predict how it will affect in future, but certainly it is the most important trend now. And at the same time, I would like to say that you can use this opportunity if I call it so, as a to create more attention to your blog or your social media group. A lot of people and future tourists search in internet about the situation in different countries. So if you want to get more attention to your blog, it's one of the way. People will read your post about coronavirus in a certain country, and then after that they might go to other posts and to other articles to read and to consider some other destinations. The second negative factor event that really affect tourism in 2020 is fires in Australia. Of course, those fires had very negative effect on Australian nature, and at the same time, fires in Australia really affected the economy of Australia. So please, if you write for this region, for tourists from this region or Australia as a destination, consider this point, or maybe you might think about switching to other destinations. And the last point, Brexit. So Brexit is one of the political, let's say, situation, one of the example. There are many other political events that might affect tourism. The Brexit is very long-term, is very continuous process, and we cannot know how it will affect. It will certainly affect the visa situation. It will certainly affect the transportation, but now the situation is very unstable and we cannot predict. Although there are so many negative points, I would like to go to some positive points. There are some recent trends that might help you to improve your post content and also to get bigger monetization from your articles. So the recent trend, and I think this trend will be really huge in future, is stopover as an extra destination. Stopover is a short stop that tourists take between two flights. For example, a tourist is traveling from Hong Kong to Berlin. There are no direct flights, and he or she might consider going to via Helsinki. Finland is another destination, and usually tourists might consider, tourists prefer to spend as less time in stopover as possible. But the recent trend is that stopover is considered as an extra destination. Air companies offer some specific packages to get to spend more time in the destination, maybe 8 hours, maybe 1 day, maybe 2 days. But it is interesting for tourists to spend more time and to see one more city or country. Apart from Helsinki, there are some other cities such as Dubai, Singapore, some cities in Kazakhstan. So please consider those destinations, because people are really interested to spend a bit of more time, but to see one more destination. You might consider that you might see that there are some search keywords like 1 day in Helsinki. So those tourists are really interested in very short and brief introduction to a destination. The second important point is the recent huge growth of activities and experiences market. I'm talking about the in-destination experience, such as food tours, different attractions, fishing, ecotourism, and others. There is more and more interest in this market and such activities. Plus, people plan those activities in advance. So recently, before, tourists try to organize activities by themselves and to do it within the destination when they already arrived. Now, tourists prefer to plan it in advance and to spend some money and some efforts before they arrive to the specific destination. And the last positive point that I would like to mention is about Tokyo 2020. It is a huge event, and certainly it will take a lot of attention from people all over the world. The most important point that I would like to stress out is that even if a specific tourist is not going to the Olympic Games, even he or she is not going to Tokyo, he would certainly try to search about this destination. And after reading a specific article about Tokyo and the Olympic Games, he might switch to other destinations and to read something else on your blog. So even if you are not interested in the specific Olympic Games, you might consider to attract more new followers, giving more information about the upcoming Olympic Games. So I shared a lot of information about the overall situation in the travel industry, and I would like to give the presentation to Kate. She will help you and share some information about bookings and payouts in recent years and upcoming year.
Here at Travelpayouts, we do have our inner statistics and we have our insights. And today, we'd like to share some of the insights with you. On this diagram, you can see the general number of bookings our affiliates made in 2019. And this diagram is kind of similar to the general trends in the travel industry. Like the peak season is summer, like for example, June, July, August, and the first bookings start in March and April. And this time span between October and February is kind of a dead season in the travel industry, especially in the beginning of a year when after Christmas, after New Year, people probably have no money to travel. So we have the same situation here at Travelpayouts with the bookings. And on the next diagram, you can see affiliate payouts in 2019. This graphic is kind of the same and is similar to the previous one, but it is a little bit moved to the right 1 month later, because if you're one of our affiliates, you know that you don't get your commission straight away. You have to wait. And for example, in case of hotels, you usually can get your commission like 3 months after the checkout date. So the trends are the same here. If we compare this graphic to the previous one, diagram to the previous one, but it is a little bit moved to the right. And also we would like to give you like insights and some basic information on our top offers. We had a webinar last month about our top offers and top categories, webinar 101. Travel payouts, and you can watch it on our YouTube and in our blog. And if you watched it, you probably know that tourism activities is one of the most popular and up-and-coming categories in the travel industry right now. It's a very promising category. And here, like the time span when you can earn money, make money with those offers is really big. It starts in March and ends in October, probably because people book their tours and activities far in advance in March for summer. And in October, they do plan tours and activities during winter holidays. And here at Travel Payouts, we have a lot of offers in this particular category. Here you can see all the advertisers in this vertical. Recently, we launched one of the most popular advertisers, GETAWAY. So you're welcome to go to travelpayouts.com and to join their program. But still, besides GETAWAY, to have a lot of advertisers, for example, Viata, Tickets, We Atlas, Amusements, and the Big Bus Tours is our newest addition. So you're welcome to choose any advertiser you're ready to work with, and average payout is $9, and so you can get up to 12.5% of the order price. The next category, which is very popular and which is always going to be popular, is ground transportation, because people will always buy tickets, I mean bus tickets and train tickets. People always travel, even not abroad, but still in their own country. The situation here is almost the same. Summer is the peak season, and everything gets quieter in starting from October till February. As for the offers in this particular category, we do have a lot of them. And as far as I know, recently Amio launched its US destinations. And for example, if you have a website dedicated to the United States and to the American cities, you're welcome to join Amio. Well, and not only in this case. And right now they pay 6% of the order price, which is a very good commission in this particular category. The third place is after package tours, which is pretty predictable, and the whole diagram is predictable because people start buying package tours in March and April, and the peak season is in summer. And well, they buy less package tours in winter and in fall. And right now at Travel Payouts, we have one cool advertiser, which is THAILAND. They pay 5% commission of the order price, and with package tours, the average order price is very high because people usually buy those tours not for one person, but for families or for a big group of friends. So the average order price is high, and your payout is also going to be very high. So you should pay attention to this particular category, to this offer. And so THAILAND has a lot of tours worldwide, and they're very interesting, all of them. And on next slides, we would like to share like our last year's statistics from our advertisers. For example, KAYAK, Tickets, Amusements, and Auto Europe. It's really hard to, well, it's not hard to say which cities and countries are going to be popular, because the trends are different each year, but there's a group of cities which are always popular. For example, European countries, European capitals like London, Paris, Rome, Berlin, and some of the American destinations like New York, Las Vegas, well, they are always gonna be popular, and the statistics here, they show the same picture. Well, these countries, these cities are always gonna be in. People will always go there and will always travel there. For example, there's a very interesting diagram from Usemans from our advertiser. It's last year's statistics, but as you can see, Italy tops the list, and probably this year is going to be a little bit different because Italy is highly affected by coronavirus. And I mean that the names on the list are going to be the same, but probably in a different order. You should also pay attention to different events which are gonna attract a lot of tourists to different countries. For example, Tokyo Summer Olympics. By the way, like, share your thoughts. What do you think if coronavirus is gonna affect Tokyo Olympics this year? Because honestly, we don't think that the games are gonna be canceled. But probably the number of tourists is going to be lower than expected. But still, Tokyo is going to attract a lot of people this year in July and August. You should also pay attention to different music festivals and festivals in general this summer. For example, like Lollapalooza in the US and also in Sweden, if I'm not mistaken. Just correct me if I'm wrong. Burning Man in the US, Edinburgh Festival in the UK, Coachella. Because there are going to be a lot of tourists in those countries during those festivals, like thousands of them. We found the information on the internet that this summer there are going to be 516 summer festivals, like only in June, July, and August, which means that if you have a website dedicated to music or to travel, you have approximately 5 festivals to write about each single day. So there are a lot of material, there are a lot of content you can write about. And last but not least from me, well, probably you already understood that the top season is summer, like June, July, August. But we wanted to provide you with information when people start booking their vacations. It's very important because some of tourists do a lot of things in advance. For example, it's from our statistics. When do people book flight tickets? 72% do it less than a month before the departure date, which is a good thing because it means that it's never too late to start promoting flights and flight tickets. But still, 21% of people, they book their flights 3 months prior to the departure date, which means that you have to start like promoting flights, like for example, kayak or avia sales offers far in advance, like at least 3 months in advance. So it means that if a lot of people fly in July, so you have to do this in April and start doing this in March, like right now. Speaking of hotels, 66% book their hotel like months before the check-in date, and 23% do it 3 months in advance, and 8% do it 6 months before the check-in date. Do you remember we were talking about music festivals, which means that there are going to be a lot of people there. So I am sure that a lot of hotels are already booked and are already like sold out. So if you wanted to start promoting and start advertising hotels, it's high time you did it. What else? Package tours. 77% buy package tours less than 1 month before the departure date, but 19% they do it 3 months in advance. And for example, we can go back to that diagram about package tours. So you can see like the peak season is in July, and which means that you should start advertising package tours, like for example, Kereda, in May or in April. So you have to prepare your content and it takes time, so just be ready. And the last slide from me is people book their tours and activities, like 82% book them less than 1 month before the activity date. And probably because there are so many like tours and activities operators, and people don't really think that all those tickets are going to be sold out. So they just buy it like before the departure date. But 17% of people, of tourists, they do it 3 months before the activity date. So again, be ready and just start preparing your website right now. And that was all from my part. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate, and thank you, Maria, for sharing so many wonderful insights. So I was personally surprised to know that to cover the majority of bookings, you have to start promoting them within 3 months before the prospect date of the trip for every client that might book through your website. So just pay more attention to this information, this data on these 4 slides from Kate. I think that this is a really internal stuff that you're not going to find anywhere else. So I'm going to very quickly share the tips and tools to improve your travel blog in 2020. So probably it looks like a general knowledge at first sight, but I just want to remind you what to do right now to prepare better. So I've just collected some information, some advice for you to pay attention to, because we know that it works well. So the first thing before you start preparing, describe your target audience and their motivations. That is a pretty important point, and I'm so surprised that people don't pay too much attention to it. So probably you should first use Google Analytics or any other tool, or at least read comments and understand who is your target audience. So who reads your articles? If you write for all kinds of people, all types of destinations, probably your conversion rate is not going to be really high. For example, if you have a pretty adult like demography of your readers, then promoting some crazy tours and activities will not work, right? So as soon as you know who reads your blog or who visits your website or who reads articles on your social media page about travel, you can start choosing the offers that convert well during peak season and that work for your audience. So that's very important to keep in mind these two things. So as for the offers and niches, Kate kindly shared the most interesting among them that really start converting well. These are tours and activities. And yes, I would pay a lot of attention to Get Your Guide and tickets, and Big Bus Tour is as a new offer. But they all convert pretty well. So you can choose among the geographies that work for your website. So ground transportation is another wonderful network, another wonderful niche. And the package tours. We only have one package tours offer at this moment, but we're working on adding more. So also flights, hotels, and car rentals. So choose among these offers if you want to increase your conversion this summer. So mix and match different offers. So what does it mean? It means that if you have an article about visiting Barcelona, it's just my favorite city and I recall it pretty often. If you want to write an article about 3 days in Barcelona and you add a hotel link, an affiliate link, of course, don't forget to add a bus link or a transfer link. You definitely need a transfer or a way to get to the city. So don't hesitate to add offers that work well together at the same moment. Just think what the way the tourist thinks. So if you book a flight, what do you book next? Hotel? Okay, we need a link to a hotel. What next? A shuttle, bus, or a transfer, or car rental. And then tours and activities. Why not? So number four, remember about the depth of booking. I have already shown you these slides, and just once again, so the depth, so to cover over 80% of bookings, you need to start promoting them like 3 months in advance, So that's a golden period, I think. So it makes it really good to start promoting them in March. I was just looking at my calendar. So, and number 5 is work on your content strategy. So I'm going to share a little bit, like a few more tips on your content a little bit later. So use email marketing. If you have a very loyal audience, very loyal crowd of people who like your articles, who trust your advice or personal experience, you can collect their emails and share more information through email marketing, right? And include your partner links, of course, for sure. Number 7 is think of search engine optimization. So this is pretty much everything that refers to your ranking in search engines like Google or Yandex or anything else. So I have 2 wonderful articles from our blog The first one is top SEO tools, and the second one is about the ideal length of a blog post that will help you to rank well organically. So number 8 is enjoy cashback when buying tickets and activities for yourself. Summer is good to travel, and you probably are going to travel as well. And if you book your tickets and activities with your own partner link, you will get your cashback. Not bad, right? And of course, my favorite number 9 is watch your profit grow. You shall understand that it's a stable process. It's not a one-time button called money. So as for the content tips, yes, here we go. You shall work on your content strategy. What does it mean? You need to write new articles based on your target audience and trends of 2020. That's why we shared these trends. And I had a question about coronavirus. If people Google this topic too much, why don't you write about it? You will organically rank really well. People will visit your blog and know more how it works for travelers and what is your opinion about that. So it will attract so much audience organically. It's free. And the virus is defeated, your blog will be so popular and you will still remain popular and get so many bookings from people who found you during this outbreak. So number 2 is update your relevant article. So guys, a quick question. If you have to find a perfect itinerary, like 3 days in Barcelona, and you have 2 identical articles, one is written in 2017 and one is written in 2020, which one will you choose? I mean, okay, I'm not going to wait for the comments, but yeah, Michael, thank you. It's definitely 2020 because 2017 is like, what? 3 years ago? Everything has changed, but you shall not waste your content. I'm pretty sure that if you have articles that were written in 2016 or 2015 or even 2019, last year, just go and update your relevant articles. If you know that these destinations are going to be popular, for example, like here, Musement, a company that provides tours and activities, says that Spain and United States of America are popular and you have articles about Spain, just go and update your articles. So the date will turn to 2020 and people will trust your advice, but of course add relevant information and all updated information to these articles. So number 3, seasons are similar every year, so you can start writing articles or even categories to attract traffic during a certain season. Okay, so number 3, seasons are similar everywhere, as I have already said. So if you have an article, which is a huge long read article, like top destinations for your honeymoon in summer, and it's not going to change every year because the seasons for honeymoon are pretty much the same. People prefer to go to islands or beautiful destinations with white sand and ocean. So just don't forget to update these articles. Really, this is one of the most important things to remember. Always update your relevant content. And number 4 is promote your content on social media. There are free social media management tools. You're not going to pay anything for it. But if you have wonderful content, share them on social media as well. And the last slide for this part with tips. Well, I told you that it's going to be easy, like general knowledge, but I just want to remind you that it's time to start now. So what are some content topics that always convert well, especially in summer? So create lists like top 10 things to do in Madrid. Create how-to articles, how to get from Barcelona airport to the city, how to get from Munich to Berlin, and so on. Number 3 is perfect itinerary, like 3 days in Barcelona, what to do. And big summer events are going to be wonderful titles for your blog posts because people go to Olympic Games, people go to music festivals. They want to know everything about these places. And more importantly, they're going to need a hotel, air tickets. They need activities in addition to these festivals. And you can get your commission by selling these activities. So that was pretty much it for the tips, but you shall start now because it does take a lot of time. It's impossible to update your blog in one day. So what you can do next. So if you're not registered at Travelpayouts yet, you shall register right now. Also, you can download our free guide, 7 Ways to Jumpstart with Travelpayouts. It's a wonderful electronic book that collects all information about traffic arbitrage, social media management, and earning on with different sources of traffic. And number 3 is our LinkedIn community. So I'm sure I'm going to add all these links to the follow-up email after this webinar. So don't hesitate to download it. It's really useful. So thank you everyone for the webinar. I hope that something was really useful for you here today. And if you still have questions, send us an email. And thank you very much for asking your questions. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye.